I knew you could do it.
I did it.
Oh geez, Itataka's pulling double duty on commentator.
Ooh.
Geez, that's got to be fun going from commentating Star Force to Pokemon.
Yep. Those are two pretty different animals.
And they're all so long too. The joy of speedrunning an RPG.
RPG speedruns.
So it's interesting to note about the runner and the commentator is both of them within the Pokemon community in Japan. They're probably the two best English speakers, so they're actually the two that I coordinate things with when it comes to cross-community stuff between the English-speaking community and the Japanese community.
Nice.
And these two are they're really good runners. They're good at their craft. Really nice too. I definitely recommend giving them a follow at some point in time, whether it's on their Twitter or Twitch or their Nico.
So they are currently, stating for some reason, they're like, wait, it's 5 o'clock? Are you sure?
So, time isn't too important in Gold. You could just kind of set it to whatever time you want, as long like the default time is going to be during daytime. The reason why you would want to set a certain time though is because morning, day, and night produce different encounters. So it looks like he's going to be saving before the Totodile. Totodile's stats are really, really important. He absolutely needs at least 12 attack. You'll want to see at least 10 in both special attack and special defense. The preferred Totodile would be 12 attack, 10 special attack, 11 special defense.
All right.
Unfortunately, it's something that isn't able to be manipped in a human manner right now. Makes me kind of sad. So it looks like he checked his...
Well, let's see what we get.
He must be going for some strict requirements. That Totodile was, I mean, it wasn't great, but it would have been good enough. But it seems like that he has the trainer ID that he needs, which is good. Yeah, 9 speed could have been a detriment in some areas, but because it's a marathon setting and because he's not going for, some egregiously low time, this is about 20 minutes higher, like a little under. Okay, that's much better.
I just saw 12, 11, 10, 10, 10.
Yeah, it has 1 more speed than the last Totodile, so that's good. The low defense can be a little bit of a detriment. I'm assuming he's probably fighting extra encounters anyway, so it won't be too much of a big deal. But yeah, considering the fact that the estimate is a little under 20 minutes higher than his best run, I think we'll be good to go.
Alright, so there's your Centret.
A little early, though. We don't get to Pokeballs until after we complete the Mr. Pokemon side quest, or I guess main quest. Kind of weird to try and think about Pokemon story progression in terms of quests.
Yeah, there's not like a particular thing that shows you quest A, quest B.
Yeah, no real tracking system. I'm curious to see if he tackled. Okay, good. Usually what you'll want to do is you'll want to take out 2 different Pokemon that are level 3 or level 4. It gives you extra experience. You can hit some really valuable benchmarks, especially since he has the lower end of defense.
Yeah, So that'll get him to level 6, I assume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the increased level will really help for the very first gym trainer fight, because the first gym trainer fight's a level 9 Spearow, which is much higher level than you. Because he had bad defense, if he didn't get the extra experience, then he'd be taking 8 damage each hit instead of 6. And even though that's only 2 points of difference, you do need about 4 turns to take out that Spearow. So that 2 points of difference becomes 8, and that's a really significant this early in the game.
All right. So when you level up in Pokemon, I know that the stat increases are affected by some sort of values.
Yeah. So they're called in Gen 1 and 2. They're called determinant values, DVs. Every other generation after that, they utilize IVs, which is individual values. So what DVs do is they determine the growth rate of your Pokemon stats. So if you want to think about the stat requirements in terms of DVs instead of actual raw numbers that you looked at, him having 12 attack means he has a minimum of 5 DV attack. DVs can scale anywhere from 0 to 15. So there's 16 different possibilities. Hopefully, I actually missed what his level up stats were, but hopefully...
I think it was +2... You got +2 strength, +2 defense, and then +1 everything else.
All right, that's pretty standard. Getting to 14 attack means that he's on the higher end of things. He's at least 9 DV minimum, I believe. But you start to see a huge difference in stat points between DV values the higher level you are. Like, you're not going to see it too much when you're lower. I can't remember off the top of my head how much of a difference it is once you get to level 100 between 0 DV and 15 DV, but it's pretty significant.
We won't actually be reaching level 100 in this run, will we?
No. We'll get to, depending on how many optional trainers he ends up hitting, we'll get to about 63 or 64, I believe.
All right.
As for, to go off on that optional trainer thing, there's something that we call spinners. They're trainers that look at all 4 directions in a random interval. There's no real rhyme or reason to it other than they have what we refer to as paired directionals. So if you see the trainer looking up or left, they're more likely to look up or left than down or right. And then same with down or right. If they're looking down, they're more likely to look right than any other direction. But they can still go whatever direction they choose. This is a really good rival fight. That was really good.
So the rival goes down easily. And of course, you said you get to about 63, but if I recall correctly, from the one time I played this when I was very small, Red's Pokemon are somewhere in the 80s range, or at least some of them are.
Yeah, so Red leads a level 81 Pikachu, and then almost everything else is level 77. So when you get to Red, it's actually quite interesting because you spend most of the game being either at or above the level of everything else, even in Kanto. And then all of a sudden you get to Red and you just have this insane level gap. So something that you'll see throughout the run, not just on Red, but more so on Red because it requires more items. You'll use items that boost your stats. It's the X items, like X attack, X speed. You'll see those utilized a lot throughout the run. It's something that casually as kids you might not have bothered with. Especially since, when we were younger, we'd want to have a full team. So it's like, oh, that thing's grass. I'll send out my fire type. Well, he did not say yes to the catch tutorial, guys, so I guess I don't know how to catch Pokemon. I hope he knows how.
Yep. Well,
All right, Centret is really good. That's really good.
There's a Centret.
Hopefully he doesn't critical it. All right, good.
All right.
So at this health, I think Centret's about 70-something% to catch.
And that looks good to me.
Nice, nice. Man, where's this for everyone else's runs?
So that takes care of the necessity of a cut slave.
Mm-hmm. Now, see, you would think that you would catch a bird here since he ran into the bird, but like I said, you get a free one later, and even if you get an early bird, it's just faster to get the free bird.
Okay, so the early bird gets the worm, but the free bird,
the free bird gets all the concert requests.
Is yeah.
They're the rock star.
The free bird is the one you cannot change.
Press 1 in chat if you like Freebird. Oh, they got a Totodile plushie too. That's neat. It looks kind of dead on the inside though. Look at how he's just like, I'm just here.
It is all I can do to keep from singing right now. I'm not gonna do it.
Man, he's really attracting all those Caterpies today. It's actually kind of a treat for me as not only someone involved in the Pokemon speedruns community on the admin side of things, but just as a fan of Pokemon speedruns in general to see both of these guys together. They are the top runners. Them and another person called Buster Poke. They're the top 3 Japanese runners, and it's actually kind of interesting to see them do the older games because in the North American speedrunning scene, you typically see people go for retro games more often than not. Whereas in Japan, they're way more into the newer games. So like these guys are usually doing stuff like Pokemon X and Pokemon Sun and Moon and stuff like that. So seeing them do retro games is actually kind of neat.
Nice. Keys are on, of course, fanboying extremely hard here.
Hey now.
I'm okay with it.
So
I'm okay with it, and I think everybody else is too. So there's one of them spinners you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. So typically what you'll see somebody do is once I'll mention this phone call thing in a sec, but
somebody's calling his mom.
Yup. So with spinners, once you see them go into a favorable direction, like I said, down and right are considered a pair, up and left are considered a pair. Once you see them go a favorable direction, you'll see a runner typically pull up their menu. It doesn't necessarily do anything. It just kind of gives you like a little bit of a buffer to react. Spinners in Gen 2 are just absolute garbage. Spinners in Gen 3 are a lot nicer because if you pull up your menu completely, like if you pull up a sub menu, like, you know, your bag or your Pokemon menu or something like that, you actually freeze the spinner. And you freeze them for, I can't remember specifically how many frames, but you don't get that luxury in this. You kind of just pause buffer and hope that, oh, hey, I hope I can pass them.
All right,
but as for that phone call thing, he was taking advantage of doing a pause buffer to dodge the spinner. And once you go to Route 31, like once you cross that threshold from 30 to 31, your mom calls you anyway. So that's just as good of a time as any to do extra menuing stuff, like set yourself up with a berry and call your mom, just to get it done and over with. Now this Spearow fight gets to demonstrate why Rage is so good. So he equipped a berry because that's essentially just getting 10 free HP in the fight. And he does need at least 25 health. As you can see, he's doing more and more damage because his rage stacks are building up. So this Spearow is almost dead, and he didn't have to do any extra training. Spearow attacking essentially was a detriment to Spearow.
Yeah, basically. So this is Faulkner's gym here in what is the name of this town?
Violet City.
Violet City.
Mm-hmm.
I only remember it's Faulkner because it's a pun on birds.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the Japanese names are also puns.
Pokemon and Dragon Ball, man. There's just lots of puns on everything.
Yep. So, I'm gonna start reading Japanese names of Pokemon. This one is
for it.
Popo.
Puns is people indeed. Yeah, it's actually like you use Rage for essentially all of the next 10-15 minutes. It's that useful of a move. Some routes you delete Rage as soon as you evolve, like you teach a different move over it. Some routes keep it. I'm assuming he's using a more updated route where he's getting rid of it.
We will certainly see. Alright, so he is gonna safety save here before fighting Faulkner.
Yeah, Faulkner isn't a fight that you can really lose without bad luck, but obviously you want to account for that bad luck in a marathon. His attack is good enough to where there shouldn't be an issue. I would imagine that the only way that there's an issue is if he does a low roll. So what I mean by low roll is damage isn't necessarily set unless it is a move like, Seismic Toss or Dragon Rage where there's like set damage. So we have damage rolls that are variable, and stats will determine like how much they vary and like where they vary. Like one stat might make it so you can do 6 to 9 damage with a 1 in 39 chance to do 10 damage, stuff like that. But the only real way that you lose this fight is if you have not good enough attack and you do some low rolls, or if you get critical. But I think this fight went splendidly for him.
Very well. So I just learned that the Japanese name for Pidgeotto is in fact pigeon.
Gee, Who'd have thunk?
There you go.
Now, I never understood the design of this gym. Like it's cash money.
Cash money.
Cash money.
Of course,
they kind of got lazy with the gym designs.
I was gonna say, don't they use a different symbol for their money?
Yeah. Yet we get the freedom dollar.
America. Anyway.
America. So he has to pick up the egg here, otherwise he can't advance. It's kind of silly, but plot. We never hatched the egg though. We deposited it eventually, so that egg will live a permanent life of solitude inside its shell, inside a digital prison.
Goodbye, egg.
It was nice knowing you. Picking up a paralyzed cure berry because Rival 2 can paralyze you and completely ruin everything, and there's a lot of other places that bad things can happen too. So Gen 2 introduced a lot of different things to the franchise. One of the biggest things it introduced was being able to equip items. And that's why Faulkner's gym worked so well, and why he was able to survive that Spearow, even though he had no business without any training. Like I said earlier, the berry gave him 10 HP for free, essentially, and the berry doesn't activate until you're below half health. He also picked up a bitter berry earlier, which is something for confusion. I don't know if he equipped it yet or not, but there's 4 fights between now and the end of the second gym that he can get confused at. So having that berry is really handy.
All right. So I learned that Marip's name is just Marip.
Well, that's boring.
Radada there is Korata. And I think Radicate is just Rata. So Korata would be child or like tidy rat.
Mm-hmm.
And then there that Zubat is just Zubato.
So he turned around because there's a Bellsprout if you didn't have Sentret.
Maratsubomi.
He turned around because the item he just picked up was a hidden super potion, and that's not a bad idea to pick that up in a marathon run. You would skip it in a normal run unless you're not going for a super low time. Also saving before this trainer makes sense. This guy has a Goldeen, and it's one of the trainers that I mentioned. It's one of the 4 fights that you can get confused in. It's the only optional trainer that you'll actually go out of your way to fight.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like you didn't actually have to fight this guy.
Well, so fighting him gives him enough experience to learn Water Gun. And once he goes into Union Cave, there's going to be a trainer with 3 Geodudes. It's really obnoxious to fight without Water Gun. You would just use Rage over and over, and it's like a 9-turn fight. Or you can take this 3 to 4 to 5 turn fight and get Water Gun, and then have a 3-turn fight against that Geodude guy. There's also a spinner before the Geodude guy. Yeah, there's a spinner before the Geodude guy that has an Onyx that can outspeed. I don't know if it outspeeds on all DVs, but it can outspeed you, and that is also obnoxious to deal with.
I think he just used that super potion he picked up.
Yeah, so good pickup on his end. Man, this is the only optional trainer that you'll fight. Any other optional trainers are just because they quick spun you and like to ruin your run.
So for those keeping score at home, Goldeen is called Tosakinto.
So one really annoying thing about Gold and Silver compared to Crystal is in Crystal you can pick up a Repel. Oh geez, he's just running into all these backup cut slaves. In Crystal you can pick up a Repel and you can repel through this cave. I believe that the Repel in Crystal is an antidote in Gold, I think. I can't remember what it is, but you just straight up skip the item because you don't need it. So he has to deal with a bunch of encounters here while dodging spinners, no less. So it almost becomes a game of stealth. Yeah, except, you can't control the stealth.
This is Pokemon Metal Gear.
Yeah. I remember I submitted at the time it was the world record for Crystal, and I submitted the raw footage to SDA, and one of the approval comments was it was interesting to see him dodge things like Metal Gear Solid.
So Geodude is called Ishitsubate. Ishi, I believe, is stone.
Yeah, this fight's a much easier and much more convenient fight with Water Gun. As you can see, it was just 3 turns and done. Oh, he almost got hit. Yeah, these spinners are super stressful because you hit one and you just lose a ton of time. And there really isn't anything you can do about it. Now, I'm wondering if he's going to kill anything for extra experience.
Excuse me.
All right.
Which literally means rock puncher.
Huh. think it's only had 2 encounters so far. This is actually a really good Union Cave.
And now we've got a fire breather.
Yeah, another interesting thing of note between Gold, Silver, and Crystal is a lot of the trainer layouts are different. Some trainers even have different visions, so some trainers that might only have like 2 tiles of vision now have like 4 or 5, or some that had 3 only have 1 now, like stuff like that. This is a trainer that you wouldn't fight in Crystal because he's on a different tile and you can just completely dodge him.
So that Vulpix is called Rokon.
I think he's explaining how spinners work now. I saw him kind of pointing up and left, and that spinner that he just passed, his name's Anthony, and in Crystal that just kills your run because you don't have water gun yet in Crystal. In Gold and Silver, it's not as bad because you do have water gun. That guy has a level 11 Geodude and 11 Machop. I think they're 11. There, Anthony. Anthony's not a friend. He's gonna do a little shopping trip here. He's gonna buy, bought some potions, bought some super potions, buying some repels, antidotes, paralyze, heal. I think his shopping route's a little different than what we do. I think. Yeah, his shopping route's a little different. Also, that he picked up a full heal, which is conveniently behind the well. That full heal is really helpful if he runs out of antidotes and paralyze heals, or if he gets confused and really needs to get rid of it. So this is the first of 3 Team Rocket gauntlets he has to deal with, and this is the shortest one. It's only 4 trainers, and it's in a condensed area. Team Rocket's prominently featured in this because they were the main antagonistic team in Gen 1, and they're trying to make their comeback in Gen 2. They're trying to do as much bad as they can so they can bring back their leader, their lord and savior. It doesn't work, but spoiler alert.
Why you gotta spoil things, man? I mess with you.
I like to watch the world burn.
Alright, so a quick potion, and now it's time to deal with this trainer.
I'll be curious to see if he picks up that super potion right there, or if he's satisfied with the super potions he bought. Picking up items is like a 5 second plus however long it takes to walk to it. So I mean, it's only 2 tiles out of the way.
Are there any encounters in this area?
Yes, but so the way that encounters work in Generation 2 is you have a certain tiles of immunity after a load. So if you just enter the area, you can travel 4 tiles without getting an encounter. And I can't remember if it's still 4 tiles after something considered a cutscene, like entering a fight, or if it's 3 tiles after that. But you do have some tiles of immunity. So the likelihood of getting an encounter here is super duper low, so we don't even bother using a repel.
All right.
Like you're on average, it's like 0 point something encounters on average. Though we have seen some people get hilariously trolled here. I myself have gotten 4 encounters.
Gross.
Which is just absolutely disgusting.
Also, for those of you keeping score at home, Ekans is called Arbo in the Japanese.
What? It's so close to Arbok.
Well, Arbok is called Arbok in the Japanese.
So he just gains a letter when he gets big?
Correct.
What kind of lame sauce?
It's it gets better. Some of like the Gen 1 names are just really great. Like Moltres, you know what his name is? Fire. It's just fire.
Huh. 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 Is Articuno just called Ice then?
I think it's like Freeze or Frieza.
Oh, I hope it's Frieza. Looks like coughing either went for smog or poison gas and missed. This well went really well. He did just get poisoned here, but he gets a free heal after this fight anyway. Nothing bad happened here. This is actually going pretty well. I mean, he does have a pretty decent Totodile.
Coughing there is Dogasu, which I think is literally poison gas.
Yeah. First 3 EV evolutions are apparently Showers, Thunders, and Booster. 2 of them sound funny, 1 of them sounds nonsensical. So, fun little fact. These twins are actually registered as 2 different trainers. So, if you fight the right one, they lead a Ladybug, and then they go into Spinnerack. If you fight the left one, it's the opposite. Now, that kind of makes sense because you just assume like the right one has the Ladybug and the left one has the Spinnerack. But the game actually lists them as 2 completely different trainers. So if you did something like a randomizer, fighting the left twin would give you a completely different team than fighting the right twin.
Aha. Oh boy, a Pokemon randomizer. That sounds like a thing.
Oh, they're actually quite fun. We actually have some. We actually have a tournament going on that utilizes some of the speed gaming channels. We have the Pokemon Crystal Randomizer Cinco Bingo tournament going on. It's actually close to done.
Ah.
But it's a neat little way to kind of test your knowledge of Gen 2 while dealing with the absolute ludicrous randomness of everything. Like sometimes you get a Mewtwo at the very beginning. Sometimes you're just stuck with crap forever.
So, also, Paris is of course just Paris.
Boo.
We gotta find good names here. Just saying.
Now this guy, this spinner, his name's Benny. Oh, he's saving before. Smart. So Benny has 3 Pokemon, and they're not hard to beat, but it's kind of annoying to fight him. And okay, good dodge. He wastes a ton of time. Like he wastes a minute, so it's actually worth it to save before him and reset and try to dodge him.
Okay, so what is this gym leader's name again?
Bugsy.
Bugsy.
And he uses bugs. If you couldn't gather that from his name.
I think it said Tsugutsu. What's his name in the Japanese? Something like that. Tsukuchi. Tsukushi. There we go. Which I think has something to do with bugs.
So he does have high health, so he should be fine. But so that Metapod wasn't very cooperative. Metapod has 3 moves. It has String Shot, Harden, and Tackle. And you want to see Tackle so you can get your Rage boosts.
Right.
But, unfortunately, it looked like he got String Shot, and then he didn't get a Harden, so he couldn't get more Rage stacks. But he did over half to the Scyther, so he's definitely fine unless he gets criticaled. All right.
Scyther's name is apparently Strike.
I could see that. So now he's gonna evolve to Crocodile. So an interesting thing that they introduced in Gen 2 with the starters was variable evolution times. In Gen 1, every single starting Pokemon evolved at 16. And then 2 out of 3 evolved again at 36, whereas one of them evolved at 32. Venusaur evolved at 32. In this game, however, they have Cyndaquil evolve at 14, Chikorita evolve at the standard 16, and then Totodile at 18. Now, to compensate for the early evolution and the late evolution, they swap that for their next stage. So Crocodile becomes Feraligatr at 30, whereas you get 36 from Quilava. So the combination of Rage being really early game broken to the point where you don't need to worry about evolving early, and getting Feraligatr by the 5th gym, like, it actually makes a huge difference. Now, what he did there was he taught Fury Cutter. It's really important that you get to Crocodile before this rival fight that's about to happen, because Totodile doesn't learn Fury Cutter, and Fury Cutter makes this fight possible. Otherwise, it's essentially impossible to win without a ton of luck. So rival he leads a Ghastly, which the Paralyzed Cure Berry comes into play here because it has Lick. You want to see Spite, you want to see Hypnosis miss. If he hits Hypnosis, you'll use your full heal. He'll have a Bayleaf after this. Okay, so he led Lick, no paralysis, that's good. He'll send out Bayleaf here, and this is where Fury Cutter comes into play, and it's really convenient too. Each badge, when you get it, increases a stat of some sort, and it also increases the move associated with the gym. So since that was a bug gym, bug moves are now stronger. So Fury Cutter is a bug move that works similarly to Rage, where you just stack it higher and higher in terms of damage. So as you see, he 3-shot Bayleaf, even though his first hit was super duper weak. So the way that the TM lines up with the badge and lines up with having to deal with Bayleaf is quite convenient.
Nice.
So from here, the fight should be fine. He's going to heal here to be safe and take out the Zubat from here.
He's a little confused there, but
well, luckily it was only one turn. That is known as the scariest fight in all of Gen 2 speedruns. You're essentially 25% to lose the fight, because Bayleaf has a Razor Leaf, and Razor Leaf is a high critical rate move, so it's got 25% chance to crit you. Unless you get crit at high health, you're probably dead after the crit. And just the general trolliness of the whole fight. Like we saw him get confused by Zubat. You can get put to sleep by Ghastly. You can get paralyzed by Ghastly. It's just not a fun time.
Yeah, that seems like a actual nightmare.
Way back when, in like 2014, 2013, a few years ago, when Worcester was doing runs of Crystal, he would grind the game for hours and very rarely get past that rival fight. Like, it's actually funny, back when he set the world record for the game a few years ago, he had mentioned in that video, "This is the first time that I've gotten past Rival 2 in days." Now, of course, this was back when the English community utilized in-game time. Now we use real time, which gives us the ability to save before the fight, so any new runners won't be deterred, because that would really suck to get that far and just die. So he's going to make a little detour here to pick up the Headbutt TM. Headbutt's a very strong, very handy early game move. It's 70 power, normal type. Normal type's really good coverage. It has a chance to flinch, which is really handy. 30% chance to flinch. That Umbreon. What is that, like a hat cape?
Nice.
That cloak? A poncho.
Careful movement to avoid all of those encounters.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the repel wore off at just the right time.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty convenient repel timing.
And so we enter what appears to be Goldenrod.
Mm-hmm. Makes a quick detour to get the bike, because the bike is nice.
Yep. I mean, in a run where you're trying to go fast, I would think you want a thing that lets you go fast.
Yes.
You
can always make
John
some
Madden
meme
style
category.
commentary.
Yeah. You ever see the I think it was on Mad TV, you ever see the John Madden quick popcorn popper skit?
Not really, no.
You have to watch that. That's like John Madden personified.
All right, so we've managed to navigate this entire gym minus one person.
Yeah, so fun fact, if you look at an overworld map of this gym, the way that the foliage is aligned is actually shaped like a Clefairy.
Huh. Nice.
So now he's about to enter the second hardest fight in the game.
Oh boy.
Whitney's notorious. Lots of us remember as kids casually the Miltank being a huge problem. In speedruns, it's actually the opposite. So like I said, he has Fury Cutter, so he's going to be building up stacks similarly to how he did it against Rival 2. Unfortunately, Fury Cutter can miss, which if you miss, you reset your stacks. On top of that, since you're essentially using the Clefairy as build-up, you have to deal with Clefairy having Metronome, so you never know what's going to happen. You can see things like Sandstorm to waste your time, Charm to lower your attack, straight-up Explosion just to kind of mock you.
So we're looking at like several layers of RNG here.
Yeah. And anytime that you ask a Gen 2 speedrunner about this fight, they'll typically say it was never the Miltank. But yeah, since he got a few hits in, as long as he doesn't miss, and as long as that's a reset.
Looks like he did have a miss.
He didn't miss. So what happened there was Miltank used Stomp instead of Rollout, and because Stomp flinched, his consecutive buildup was gone. Yeah.
Gross. So Miltank is in fact called Miltank, but Clefairy here is Pee-Pee.
I just don't appreciate the fact that it looks like Clefairy is flipping us off. It's it knows.
Yeah.
So hopefully Miltank goes better this time. Miltank's much more likely to use Rollout than Stomp. Alright, so it looks like he used rollout this time, so unless he misses, he wins.
Hot dang. That is a non-trivial amount of damage. You weren't kidding about these build-up moves just getting bigger and bigger and bigger over time.
Yeah. So, like I think I mentioned earlier that Rage doesn't have a cap. Fury Cutter does. Once you hit 5 consecutive Fury Cutters, it's always going to do the same amount of damage. Rollout, it's actually funny because you're doing consecutive build against consecutive build. So rollout's a build too. It goes for 5 turns. You can't pick a different move after you use rollout, whereas Fury Cutter you can swap between things. You would lose your stacks obviously, but like right there, he used Fury Cutter, did enough damage to where Headbutt could kill, and he went for Headbutt because it doesn't miss. Rollout will build up for 5 turns and get stronger and stronger and stronger, and that's all you do. So that cow is just infinitely rolling until it's either done rolling or it's dead. And rollout was the issue that most of us as kids had with that mill tank. It would just completely destroy you. That mill tank in general is annoying. It has stomp, which gets same type attack bonus because it's a normal move and mill tank's normal. So you can get flinched by that. You can deal with rollout getting really bigly. It has attract and it has milk drink. It's just an obnoxious.
So what was he picking up there in that house next door?
So that was the squirt bottle. That's required to wake up the Pseudo-Wudo so he can advance.
Right.
He also picked up...
Are we doing coin case time?
Yep. He picked up Kenya right there, which is a free Spearow. Story-wise, it has a male attached to it, and you're supposed to give the Kenya to a guy to the right of Violet, and he'll give you a TM as thanks. We don't give it. We just keep it. We're thieves.
I mean, hey, free Spearow.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain about that.
And apparently we have the correct ID to make the Master Ball thing work?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's fighting this trainer. It looks like this trainer is optional, but you have to go down here later on in the game, and you'd have to fight this trainer anyway. So you might as well fight him now and get the experience, because the experience is more valuable now than it is later. It'll end up being the same amount of turns anyway, as well, so might as well just knock it out. So after he beats this trainer, he's gonna go down a little more and pick up the coin case. I cannot get over that Umbreon poncho, whatever. I think it's adorable.
So what does it take to evolve Spearow into Fearow again?
So Spearow evolves at level 20.
Okay.
And
but we're not going to give him any XP, right?
Mm-mm. Nope.
So this bird you cannot change?
Yeah. Damn it.
Sorry.
I should have known you were going there. Interestingly enough, though, in the remakes of the game, in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, the Spearow you get starts at 20, so you can get it to Fearow really quickly, and it actually does get a little bit of experience because you use it in a double battle.
Ah.
Alright, so right here he's talking to the lottery guy, and as you see, he said that, oh, if you want to win, then you need ID 01001. Conveniently, that's what Kenya has, so he now has a free Master Ball. He's also going to utilize this opportunity to deposit the egg and to heal. So anytime from Gen 2 onward, this didn't happen in Gen 1, anytime you deposit a Pokemon into the PC and withdraw it again, it gets a free heal. So he skips the center entirely. And if you've noticed, he hasn't entered any centers in a while, and that'll come into play in a sec.
Yeah, so that's pretty fast, actually. It's much faster than waiting on the cutscene for the Pokemon Center. So he's currently purchasing some coins at the game center, and you said he was going to use it to buy an Abra?
Yes, Abra has teleport, as we all know, and teleport's actually super duper handy. Also, fun little speed strat there. He actually said that he wanted to buy another Abra, and they're like, oh, you can't afford that Abra. It's less text to try to buy another Abra than it is to press B to cancel. Now, this is why he didn't enter any Pokemon centers. If you enter a Pokemon center, it essentially sets a warp point. So by using teleport there, and not entering any centers after entering Violet Center, he's able to teleport there, and he's able to
all the way back to Violet. Wow.
Yeah, and the route above Goldenrod is Route 35, and we affectionately refer to it as Spinner Hell. It's a lot worse in terms of spinners and Crystal, but there's a lot more required trainers to fight there in Gold. Doing teleport strats like this skips all those fights. So he approaches the Sudowoodo from the right instead of below, doesn't have to fight any trainers at all. So it's a massive time save.
You do that spray bottle, and then now you've got a rock-looking tree.
Yeah, you got
tree-looking rock.
You got this angry fake tree. You woke it up from its nap, and you just run away from the fight. What a jerk.
It's like, hey, you're in my way. Move.
Yeah. Now, this trainer here is an example of some differences between Gold and Crystal. He's required here. In Crystal, he's actually 3 tiles to the left, and he's a spinner.
So Drowsy's name is Sleep.
At least that's sensical.
Alright, so this is going to be, what, Morty's gym?
Correct.
Morty! Sorry.
So he just learned a move called Bite, which got changed to Dark type in Gen 2. In Gen 1, it was a normal move. Dark had not existed yet. Since Dark is super effective against Ghost, it's actually a really convenient move to have for this gym.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'd be relying on, I guess, like Water Gun. So you
get actually, what used to happen was you would do the Kimono Girl Theater early, so you could get Surf, and then you would just use Surf a lot in this. The routes changed a little bit in the past 6-7 months, so now we do Morty early, because the experience from Morty's gym is actually more valuable for Kimono Girls than the opposite. It is a little riskier, though, not too terribly much. Doing it this way also makes sense too, because the old route, after you buy Abra, you would actually go to go through the Goldenrod Mart and buy a bunch of extra things. And this was before you would get the Master Ball and just catch the Gyarados. You'd shop a lot in Goldenrod. You'd still do the teleporting strats and whatnot. But now you just skip the mart entirely, shop somewhere differently, and do this gym early so you can get valuable experience.
Are you ready for the most, crazy name you ever heard in your life? Because Haunter's name is Ghost.
Oh my goodness.
Ghost.
Here's some top tier names.
So yeah, Ghastly is Ghost, and Haunter is Ghosto.
My goodness.
I think Gengar is just Gengar.
Tier. Really top tier names.
See, if only they were gonna have an Umbreon in this race, or in this run.
Well, there is the Umbreon that you fight in the Kimono Theater, but there's also the Umbreon on why can I not remember her name? Karen in the Elite Four. So you get 2. God, if they had like a donation thing like with GDQs and RPG limit breaks and stuff, and that Poncho were up for bid, I'd be dropping some mad cash.
Mm-hmm. Matsuba is the name here. It's the Japanese name of this trainer. I think there's a death pun in there somewhere, or a ghost pun. But I'm not that good with Japanese. Something about hypnosis?
Yeah, he was setting up an X speed so he can outspeed things. Bite also has a chance to flinch, just like Headbutt. So he was setting up an X speed, that way he could outspeed the Gengar and potentially get some flinches.
Yeah, just Gengar.
Interesting. I guess he wanted to get rid of the curse. So he loses out on his X speed there. At least I think I'm not sure. He might have gotten status, then I wasn't paying attention. He did get put to sleep, so he did use a full heal, but
Abra's name is Keishi.
So the AI for this fight's really interesting. If he gets put to sleep, the next turn he will always go for Dream Eater. He does have Shadow Ball, but he's way more interested in Hypnosis Dream Eater than just using Shadow Ball. Very valuable crit. That was really good. Apparently Umbreon's Japanese name is Blackie.
Nice.
So that fight wasn't too terrible. It did have its ups and downs, but so far he hasn't hit any spinners, and he only had to reset once for Totodile stats and once for Whitney, so this run's going pretty well.
So I've now started watching the badge names as they come across, and I think they may be actually the same. So like, this one said Phantom Badge. Is that what that is in the English?
Oh god, what is it called? It's not Phantom Badge, but I'm trying to remember. Why can I not remember? Goodness. Someone in chat, educate us. Beat my Google search. Fog.
Fog Badge, huh. Alright. So we've got Boosta, Flareon,
So a valuable thing about getting experience from Morty's gym is he's going to outspeed this Espeon, which is really, really nice. Espeon's annoying. Espeon has a really, really strong special attack stat, and it has stab confusion, and that hurts.
This is like...
Well, there's the stab confusion.
Effie.
Poor Flareon. Everyone else gets names that make sense. So he's skipping the Umbreon right now so he could get another level in. So he has a better chance of knocking out the Umbreon in an efficient manner.
Shawaz.
Sand attack. Hopefully doesn't miss. Okay, good.
Yeah, you don't want that accuracy to mess with you.
Definitely not. The PP in this route is super tight right now. Like, he will have surf, so it's not as bad as it used to be, but your headbutts are really valuable. You want to keep them for for Chuck's gym, because flinches really, really help.
Yep, there it is, Buraki.
That looked like a missed sand attack. So fun fact about any move that has some sort of status. So in Gen 1 and Gen 2, if something has a chance to like drop your accuracy or paralyze or something like that, at best it's actually 75%. Like, the AI actually gets a nerf. I don't know why, but like something like Icy Wind. If you hit Icy Wind, it's a guaranteed speed drop. Unless you're the AI. The AI has a 25% chance to not get the speed drop.
Interesting. Sandazu.
I don't know if he saved before this fight, but
he did.
You can die. Critical hurts.
Yeah, he definitely saved right before this fight. I was like, yeah, bringing a water to a lightning fight seems like a great idea.
Yeah. So now his reward for beating all the kimono girls is getting surf. Surf is very nice. 95 power plus stab.
Yeah. So for those of you who are unaware of what stab is, that's same type attack bonus. That means you have the same type as the attack you're using, therefore you get extra bonus damage.
Yeah, you get an additional 50%, so surf becomes super duper powerful. Like, water gun was 40 power, but because it was stab, it's 60 power. Surf is just shy of 150. So even though Feraligatr isn't necessarily set up for special attack, it's really hard to turn that down.
Yep. Alright, so this is Rival showing up here again.
Yeah, he's just talking about how the gym leader is a bleeding heart, and who cares about sick Pokemon? All I want to do is become stronger, feel my edge.
Yeah.
So he's gonna buy a couple super potions here, and then buy some super repels, because we're out of repels.
So is in Gold and Silver, is the Rival's name just Silver, like
yeah,
it was in Red and Blue?
Rival's default name is Silver. Yes.
All right. So we've got Silver the Edgelord.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one that did this, but I remember the first time I played through Gold and Silver. After you beat Rival, it says my name is ? And I took that as that's his actual name. So as soon as we got back to the lab and the police officer was like, "Did you catch that guy's name?" I named him ? Because I thought if I named him wrong, then I was doing something wrong.
Very nice.
So this fight kind of showcases a few things at once without even realizing it. So it utilizes the flinch of Headbutt, which prevented Knocked Out from getting a turn in. He swapped from Headbutt to Surf to finish it off because he needs to keep and conserve Headbutt PP. And it also brings up an interesting thing. So each character in the game is one frame, which is why you see people name themselves something like A or I, just something that's one character. They'll name their Pokemon A or I. So when selecting a move, you typically, if any move in general kills and there's no PP constraint, you typically want to go to the shortest named move. However, it takes 6 frames to go down from one move to another. So even though something like Surf is 4 frames faster than something like Headbutt, you actually lose 2 frames because of the 6 frame transition to Surf.
Huh. Yeah. So Growlithe, by the way, is Guardy, and Meryl is just Meryl.
So what is happening right now, Boiler, is I am observing the run live as it's happening right now, and I am just translating what's happening in the game. I unfortunately do not speak Japanese, so I don't know exactly what they're saying.
I can pick up a word or two. Which is where I got hypnosis from. A minute ago. I was like, Saimin Jutsu? What? Don't know why that's one of the Japanese words I know. It's a weird Japanese word to know.
Yeah. So he just picked up a rare candy there. He's actually going to use the rare candy right now because he's level 29, and level 30 gets you Feraligatr. And Feraligatr is very, very nice for the next gym.
All right. I believe we are running on the gold version, Unico Yokai.
There's a bit of menu optimization here. So he used the rare candy because he has to be in a menu anyway to use one of his escape ropes. Escape rope lets you exit a dungeon immediately. He also used a super repel right there. Now it might seem a little silly because he's not going through any grass or water tiles yet, but he's gonna surf through water after picking up strength here to get to Cianwood City, and the repel lasts long enough. And it would wear off if he did it too late in an inconvenient spot anyway. So you might as well just do it and optimize the menu. Now something I didn't mention is you saw that trainer was spinning around, but she was spinning in a set pattern. So there's actually 2 classes of spinners. There's a girl like this. She's Kaylee. She sucks. Where she does the whole random direction thing. And there's that girl that he passed few seconds ago where she just went clockwise. Some of them go clockwise, some of them go counterclockwise.
Oh. Getting wrecked by Kaylee.
The fight isn't too bad. It wastes time. Kaylee sucks though. It's 2 Goldings and a Sea King. The Goldings die in one shot. The Sea King does not.
So, her name is Nagisa in Japanese. In case you wanted to know who to curse at in Japanese. They named their Feraligatr, or Totodile in the beginning, they named it Haruma Fuji. Haruma Fuji. I thought you said that thing didn't die in one hit.
Well, he criticaled like a cheater. Okay. Clearly, he has an action replay. Duh.
Nah.
He just hit the spinner, so it wasn't suspicious. That's a neat little aesthetic change right there compared to Crystal. In Crystal, you can't surf to the left like that and land early, because there's a Suicune there, and it's part of the Usein side quest / Suicune side quest thing. Here, all the legendary roamers are treated equally. None of them have a story over the others, so he's just able to land early and stop surfing and get on his bike for faster movement. That's a good glitch.
So that was Swamra. Is Hitmonlee.
And Hitmonchan?
Well, I assume that's what this guy has, right?
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you here in a second. Ibiwara. No, Ebiwara.
He got Thunder Punch. And he got the Paralysis Cheese. That's unlucky. Oh, but he had the Paralyzed Cure Berry still. Huh. Neat. So, there's varying levels of AI throughout the game. Most of the time when you see scrub trainers like that, their AI is just random. They'll pick whatever move. It's 25% for each move. Things like cool trainers and gym leaders and Elite Four members, just like the higher echelon of trainer classes, they'll have AI that's on the smarter side. So if that trainer had good AI, then it would always go for Thunder Punch. But sometimes you see stuff like Comet Punch or Ice Punch or Fire Punch.
So we had Wanriki and Goriki. Those are Machop and Machoke.
What are you doing, Itataka? So minor menu optimization there. So he had the heal because he took damage. In Gen 2, you don't have to go to the Pokemon menu to use a field move. But since he was in the menu anyway, it was just faster to do that.
So, if you're wondering what Mankey's name is, Monkey.
So creative.
Though in this, it sounds like monkey if you say it the Japanese way, but it's spelled M-A-N-K-E or K-I-I. Okorizaru. Okorizaru. I have no idea. That's just what it says.
Okay,
all right, it's Chuck time.
So Chuck, Chuck's the last real issue for a while. He's gonna use he's either gonna use 1 or 2 X attacks. I'm not sure what he's going to do, but so he'll use X attacks to boost his attack so he can take out Chuck. But Chuck's pokes are quite bulky for this point in the game.
So why does Chuck look like Mario?
Homage?
All right.
He's probably going to go for just 1 X attack because he hit Kaylee and is 32. If you don't hit Kaylee, okay, he's going to set up 2. If you don't hit Kaylee, you enter this fight at 31. So Poliwrath is actually a range, which is kind of obnoxious. Poliwrath's moveset's annoying. It has Hypnosis, it has Mind Reader, and it has Dynamic Punch. It also has Surf, but it's never going to use it on Feraligatr. Now, Dynamic Punch is quite the thing. It's 50% to hit, but it's 100% to confuse.
All right. Well, at least we didn't have to deal with any of that mess. Poliwrath is called Nyorobon. Which I'm going to assume is a play on Orobon, which is like a type of fish.
Yeah, it would make sense.
But Nyoro means to spin around in circles, so yeah.
Yeah, mentioning of the little swirl on his stomach. So since you beat Chuck, you get to talk to his wife, and she's like, "Oh well, here you go. Have fly. How convenient. Now we can fly instead of surf back." He also just got the secret potion, which is what we use to cure the Ampharos that's supposed to be lighting the lighthouse. However, we're not gonna We're not gonna heal the Ampharos yet. We got other things we want to do, so yeah, it can be sick for another few minutes. No big deal.
Seems legit. All right, I am gonna let you hold down the fort for a bit. I'm sure you can do plenty fine without me. Gotta take care of something. I'll be back in a few minutes.
All right, see you then. So, the movement here is interesting. Hopefully it doesn't hit the spinner. The spinner's lame. Okay. The movement here is quite interesting because Mount Mortar in gold and silver is dark. So you would either need flash or you need to memorize the map. Now, the movement in Mount Mortar isn't too terrible. But in Crystal, you would actually just go through it because it's lit. But gold, it's just cleaner movement to do surfing. The surfing's actually a little bit slower, but like I had mentioned, it's dark on the inside, and you want to go for clean movement. Now, this red Gyarados is exactly why we manipulate the Master Ball. So we need a Whirlpool and Waterfall Slave. And Waterfall Slaves are few and far between in Gen 2. There's the Poly line, there's the Psyduck line, there's Gyarados. That's really about it. There might be one or two that I missed. I mean, like, you know, Mew would learn it too, but like anything accessible to you. It's a really small, unvaried pool. So by manipulating the Master Ball and catching the Gyarados, you're not only catching an encounter that is forced anyway, but you don't have to deal with the RNG of trying to get a Poliwag or Poliwhirl. You get a Poliwag or Poliwhirl in gold and silver as early as Ekkertique, because you can just go in the pond in the upper right corner and just surf for a little while and hope for the best. Surf encounter rate's really, really crappy though, so having the Master Ball for Gyarados is really, really convenient. Crystal kind of mitigated that a little bit by giving you earlier access to Poliwag. Route 30 and Route 31, if you go through the routes during the nighttime, then you have, what is it, like a 30% chance to see a Poliwag? So you get an early crack at getting a valuable slave. Oh, Dratini. Dratini learns Waterfall. It's really odd because something like Feraligatr doesn't learn it, but something like Dratini does. You would actually, in Crystal you don't use Feraligatr. Crystal, you still manipulate the Master Ball, but you actually catch Entei. So you can use Croconaw as an HM slave as well. So Croconaw will get Whirlpool instead, and you either have a Poliwag for Waterfall, or you just get the Dratini that you get from the Dragon's Den and teach that Waterfall. Waterfall in general is just super obnoxious. So this is the first of two Resident Sleeper parts of the run. As you can see, we're vastly over-leveled here. Like, we're almost double the level of everything. Everything will die in one hit. There's 2 or 3 pokes that may not die in one hit if you get unlucky and have a low damage roll. So the gimmick of this area is the statues have an alert system in them. And every time you get the statues, you'll get those same 2 trainers over and over. So you go here and you talk to the computer, and the computer will shut down the alarm system. So then you don't have to deal with it anymore. Otherwise, you'd have to deal with those same 2 fights, another 3 or 4 times total. Anyway, since this is kind of a downtime area. To those of you that may have just come in or were not here for the announcement, this is RTA in Japan 2. This is a speedrunning event that's held in Japan, showing off the best of the best out in Japan. It's going to be an entire weekend filled with a bunch of really great runs. Right now we are doing Pocket Monsters Gold Silver, known as Pokemon Gold to us. This is the any percent glitchless category that goes all the way to red. Interesting fact. Japanese speedrunners also have a category that stops at Lance, which is about 2/3 of the game instead of the full game. That category is really interesting because you do things slightly differently. This run's got another, with the way that his run and fights are going, it's probably less than 2 hours from now. And then after that, we're going to have Hearthstone. For anyone who likes that. I, for one, have absolutely zero experience with Hearthstone. If you are a Hearthstone player in chat, type 1. If you're not, type 2. Type another number if you want to watch the world burn. So throughout this hideout, he's making his way to certain trainers, because certain trainers have passwords, and he needs to get 2 passwords. It's Slowpoke Tail and Raticate Tail. And he needs to get these passwords so he can enter the main boss's room, which has a Murkrow that gives him another password. Really, really innovative stuff. Oh, Dutch with the raid. Thank you for the raid, Dutch. So yeah, right there, she was saying, oh, well, this is the password, but you need 2 of them. Ha 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 ha. Quick shout outs to Dutch for introducing me to VMix. Death to Amarek. Long live VMix. So to anybody who's just now joining the stream, this is an English restream of RTA in Japan 2, which is a Japanese speedrunning marathon event that's being held throughout the entire weekend. Right now we got Pokemon Gold going on. And on deck afterwards is Hearthstone in about 2 hours. To anybody wondering why you can't hear the Japanese audio, we have, for the sake of clarity of commentary and whatnot, we have a soundtrack playing in the background. The host is currently away. As soon as he gets back, I'll let him know. Thanks for pointing that out, Yurizo. But yeah, you guys actually came in at the least interesting part in the game. So this is one of 2 very long Team Rocket gauntlets where you're massively overleveled and you OHKO everything and yada yada yada. There isn't too terribly much to talk about at this part, really. The key things to take away from here, PP management's really, really valuable. He's using certain moves. Like, he used Bite there a lot, even though it's not his most effective move, because Bite has a lot of PP and he needs to conserve it for later, so he can reduce Pokemon Center trips. There we had Silver being an edgelord, complaining that Lance beat him, and Lance is a bleeding heart and wants him to love and care his Pokemon. Everything is low level because the intended path of going through the game is to do this first. But the way that the speedrun handles it is after Ecruteak City, you go to Olivine and Cianwood, and you deal with Chuck's gym, and you get Fly. So you get a ton of extra levels. Also, since this is a speedrun, you're solo maining the Feraligatr. So this part of the game was intended to be done a little earlier. I don't know too many people personally that did it this way, but you can kind of tell by the level curve that they intended you to do this first. The game levels you up by defeating Pokemon, period. There's nothing different about that compared to any other RPG experience. The thing is, though, is, like I just mentioned, you're intended to do this section of the game first, and then everything else afterwards. There's indeed a schedule available. I'll post that for you in just a sec. Yeah, the one big thing about Pokemon games in general is they can't really get the level balance right ever. Especially since you're only using one Pokemon, like the level balance just gets thrown out the window. But despite the fact that you are higher level, his special isn't that great here, so... Okay, he got the range. So that Arbok actually has a chance to live. It's a pretty low chance, but this Gloom also has a chance to live, I believe. Is it the Gloom? Yeah, the Gloom has a chance to live. But that's based on his attack instead of his special attack, and his attack looked pretty good. From Claire to E4, there is a pretty big gap, yeah. But because you're only using the Feraligatr, the gap doesn't really exist. You're going to be higher level than everything from here up until the final fight. $10 is serviceable. You obviously want like 12 or higher. It's a better echelon for ranges. Literally stinky flower. So unfortunately, he has to feint all these Electrode because they're powering up the machine that is forcing Pokemon to evolve early. Consequently enough, these Electrode are evolved very, very early. Level 81, actually. But that fight tries to utilize AI in an advantageous way, which I'll save that for later. I'll save that in 2 hours when we get there. And all these Electrodes are ranges too. Now I don't think this last one's a range after the level up. Yeah, that is correct. So every time you load the electrode, it re-rolls its DV spread. So if he were to run away from this electrode and then re-enter the fight, it wouldn't necessarily be the same electrode. 3:27 is the estimated time, yes. Now the runner's PB is like a 3:08, I believe, and that includes the credits. This run in general has been pretty good. He had the reset once for Totodile stats. He had the reset on Whitney because Moo Cow's a jerk. And then he hit one spinning trainer. Other than that, the run has been pretty solid. Pretty average luck. So this is really stupid design. Speaking of spinners. You have to do an ice puzzle with a spinner. What a joke. This is Douglas. Douglas sucks butt. Douglas has 2 Shelter and a Cloister. The Cloister has Protect. Hopefully he gets the flinch. Nice flinch. Nice not Protect. Okay, good Douglas fight. That could have gone a lot worse. I think because he's hit 2 spinners after he used the rare candy, I think he's gonna reach level... I think he's gonna be 52 guaranteed. Or is it 53 guaranteed? He's gonna reach a level threshold for Lance when he gets there, so the level 50 Dragonite should be a guaranteed kill, or pretty close to guaranteed, because his special isn't the greatest. I think his special was like 9. Yeah, so we made it out of Resident Sleeper base, but after 2 fights, we're going to Resident Sleeper Tower and Resident Sleeper Underground. This is the absolute worst part about Gen 2 speedrunning, is that this section in general is just... it's lacking anything remotely exciting. It's just proper PP management and making sure you execute everything as well as you can. Interestingly enough, the remakes of the game, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they found a way to make the Resident Sleeper parts fresh. Oh god, I forgot how ugly Piloswine was in this. But they found a way to make the boring parts a little bit on the fresher side, so it wasn't as boring, but it's still boring. His special is 10? Okay, thanks, Akisto. I must have miscalced somewhere. I thought it was 9. So now he's going to go back to Olivine. And now we're going to take care of this sick Ampharos. I'm doing quite well, Armin. How are you doing? So he has to climb the lighthouse again, which means he has to dodge Ernest again. Hitting Ernest is not detrimental to the run, but just obnoxious. So picking up this ether. Picking it up later instead of when he first passed gives him a more optimal menu. Okay, good dodge. My Christmas was pretty well. Got to relax and stuff. Take a couple of days off from streaming. Kind of nice.
All right. I have returned. Hello.
Welcome back. How does one speedrun Hearthstone? Stick around in a couple of hours to find out. Because I don't know.
The answer is you get lucky.
PP up in Japanese is PP aid. Oh.
So, let's see. This would be Jasmine, or am I making that up?
Yes, this is Jasmine. You didn't miss too much while you left. We just went through Resident Sleeper hideout. He hit a spinner.
Aw.
But that spinner was in a really cruddy place. It was Price's gym, and as you might remember, there's an ice puzzle there, and you have to dodge that spinner twice while doing an ice puzzle.
Yeah, good luck with that.
You're more likely than not going to hit him.
So, update on the Pokemon name situation. Magnemite is apparently called Coil, and it looked like Steelix is Bagameru. No, Haganeru. Which would make sense because Hagane is steel.
Now, this phone call, storyline-wise, is just super silly. Because this is Professor Elm calling you, saying, "Oh, hey, yeah, you got 7 badges, neat. Oh, there's something going on in Goldenrod. I hope it's not Team Rocket. They can't possibly be back." Just kind of sitting here like, yeah, they're totally back. I just fought them. I fought them twice. Interesting that he's taking the elevator. It's faster to walk.
Interesting.
He definitely doesn't have 6 special. I'm almost positive he doesn't have 6 special.
So, what do we mean? What do we mean by 6 special?
Oh, we're talking about the DV.
Oh, DV.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm pretty sure his special level is a little higher than that, but okay.
I must have mislooked then. I thought it was 9.
So I know we got plus powers and some other things. He got effect guard, which I don't know what that is in the English.
So the items he bought there, he got X attacks for his attack stat. He got X specials. He should have bought a couple of X accuracies. So using an X accuracy skips the accuracy check entirely. So if you get something like Sand Attack, or if something uses Double Team, then it doesn't matter because you're going to hit 100% no matter what. That gets changed in Gen 3, but it applies like that in Gen 1 and Gen 2. He might have bought... Well, he had to have. He bought at least 1 guard spec, which might be what you were talking about.
That's what it is.
So guard spec is essentially missed in an item. It prevents stat drops on your end.
So we're going to be raiding the radio tower here. like, why do you guys continue to use Zubats? They're pretty much trashed here.
The flavor? I don't know. It's pretty bad.
It's like if you're trying to take over the world, you really ought to use some more high quality Pokemon. That's all I'm saying. That is Beto Beta. That's Grimer. Beto Beton. That's Muck. Aesthetics are for people who don't want to take over the world. That's all I'm saying.
So, welcome to Resident Sleeper Tower, where everything's under-leveled and dies in one hit for the most part.
Almost.
He must have used the wrong move.
Well, we keep adding more Pokemon to the couch here.
They got a substitute doll. The heck?
Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's the doll when you use substitute.
What?
So he substituted himself.
Yeah, he had to take a break, so he brought in the substitute doll.
What a guy.
That's some
next level stuff.
Class.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said a couple of times already, the only real strategy behind this area is proper move management. There really isn't much else to it. The excitement picks up again once you finish this, because then you have to do Ice Path, which, you know, there's ice puzzles there, and there's a decent amount of execution. Probably like the most execution in the run, which is kind of funny to say because it's Pokemon. But then the Claire fight is after that, and that can possibly be an issue. And then from there, it's a build up to the Elite Four.
Right.
But unfortunately, he has another, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like, it's another 13 fights or something like that in this boring part.
Yep, so if you were ever worried you weren't going to get leveled enough to go fight the final stuff, you are mistaken.
Yeah. So he's using calciums here to compensate for the fact that he has really bad special. Looks like he used an ether there too to replenish his Surf PP. He's also teaching Return. Or is it Ice Punch? No, he's teaching Ice Punch. The bonk there was on purpose. So that rotator, since he's fixed, bonking on the wall there kills enough frames to where he can pass the rotator without having to stop movement.
Nice. So Porygon is Porygon.
Neat.
Which is actually how you would write Polygon in Japanese.
So right there, what he did was, depending on your special DV, you could actually just go for a really unfavorable surf range. His special sucks though, so he went for Bite to try and flinch the Porygon and save a turn. That Porygon has Tri-Attack. Usually it will use Conversion instead, or Conversion 2, but it has Tri-Attack, and Tri-Attack has the lovely distinction of being able to burn, freeze, or paralyze you. So the flinch there is really, really valuable.
Yeah, I don't want to have to take 20 damage every turn, or turn my card upside down. Oh wait, wrong game.
So he's setting up an X special here, so he can one-shot the Wheezing. This is a fight of 5 Coughings and a Wheezing. Now the reason he did it on the second Coughing and not the first one is because the first one is way more likely to use Smokescreen.
Mm-hmm.
And Smokescreen sucks because you don't want to miss.
Right. Does he always do it in the order of the 5 Coughings and the Wheezing?
He does 3 Coughings, then Wheezing,
okay.
and the remaining 2. I don't know why it's done like that.
So Wheezing is Matadogasu, otherwise known as more poison gas.
More poison gas. These names are super high quality.
Mm-hmm. I mean, words that are commonplace for us sound very exotic to the Japanese ear, like that of fire for Moltres, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because fire sounds really, really strange to the Japanese ear. So, does that do it for the tower?
That's part 1.
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought there were more fights coming.
So what's happening now is he's going to the underground, which, since he already fought these 2 trainers, he doesn't have to fight them. It's convenient. Now he can access an area of the underground he couldn't before, because for some reason, even though Team Rocket's full of villains, they have some form of honor, where you beat me, so I guess I'll give you the key to potentially stop us. So now he's in the underground. The underground is where they're hiding the real radio tower director.
But of course, Rival has to show up for some reason.
Yeah, and then he just completely wastes your time. Now, it's interesting that he saved before this fight. You can die in this fight, so that makes sense, but it'd be really hard to die in this fight.
So, Golbat, I'll give you one guess as to what his name is.
Golbat.
Yep.
So this fight actually has a couple different strategies you can use, depending on if you have a bitter berry left over, then you set up on the Golbat for sure because it has Confuse Ray, and that gives you that free turn of setup. If you have the Paralyzed Cure Berry still, you set up on the Magnet. Was it the Miteraton? You set up on the Magnet. If you don't have either, it's just kind of a preference thing. He went for Golbat, and he got lucky because he didn't get Confuse Ray.
So, what do you think Meganium's name is?
Something. Oh my goodness! I forgot Sneasel was brown and gold. He looks like poop.
So Sneasel there was Nura. But Meganium is Meganium. Or Meganium.
He's got the gimmick of this area is you push switches in a certain order and unlock the walls in certain ways. Unfortunately, the only way to advance is fighting all 3 trainers. There is no switch combination possible otherwise that would work.
I see.
So you have to deal with all these low levels.
I have a very important question for you. What percentage of Rattata was that Rattata in?
Serious answer? It would be like right at the halfway mark. There is your serious answer of the day.
I actually expected a serious answer, which was hilarious. Alright, so this coughing, if this doesn't level you up, something's wrong. There we go.
And he got negative experience somehow. Imagine
what?
that. Yeah. It's like, how did I lose a level? What's going on?
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having heard what you said.
My immersion is ruined. He's holding the substitute now instead of hiding. He's going double duty with this. Look, he's got the Umbreon and the substitute.
Oh, by the way, do you know what Team Rocket's name is in Japanese?
I do not.
It's Team Rocket.
I was hoping for something exotic.
Or it's Roketto Dan, where Dan is team. Sorry.
I was hoping for something exotic. Yeah, doing the switches in opposite descending order, 3, 2, 1, and now he can advance. But he's still got 3 more fights because why not?
Hey, look,
There's
it's
just
Purple Luigi.
Just a lot. Oh my goodness. There's just a lot of pointless fights in this section. Like we're almost out of it. We got another like 5 or 10 minutes, and we can finally get back to more interesting things.
I figure this is why I can make dumb jokes, because we're just kind of slogging through a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, no kidding. Like this is where the level balancing becomes apparent that it's really not that great. So whereas before you could kind of gather that the order of events was kind of intended one way, even though nobody ever does it that way. It doesn't matter what order you do things, you're always going to get this at the same spot. So the fact that everything's still in their mid-20s, like even if you're raising a full team, I'm not quite sure what they were thinking in terms of balance. Like we're almost double the level of everything at this point in time.
Yeah, so for those of you just tuning in and have no idea what you're watching, this is the RTA in Japan marathon showcasing some of the best speedrunners in Japan, and we are the English language restream here on Speed Gaming 3. Going to be broadcasting this all the way through to Saturday night or Sunday morning. We got a lot of action ahead of us. Currently in the middle of the Pokemon Gold any percent run. And we're approaching the end of the first, quote, half of the game here.
I promise it gets more exciting after this.
So, Oddish, or Gloom's name here is Kusai Hana, which means bad-smelling flower. Also, to anybody wondering why there's a soundtrack playing and not the actual game audio, it's for the sake of commentary clarity, we have it going like this. Right, because if we had the other audio, we would be talking over the Japanese commentator.
So enjoy your eclectic selection of video game music including such hits as Doom during a Star Force 2 run.
Seems legit.
Yeah.
Basically the same game.
So he's got 2 more fights here, and then he's done with the underground. And still has to go back to the radio tower.
No.
In which he'll have 4 more fights, and then he'll be done for real this time.
Well, we are not messing around. And we're back.
Hooray! Or to anybody who preferred not having commentary, boo! So, he had an extra step he could have done there, but what he did right there in Ice Path was kind of what I was mentioning earlier with encounter immunity. So upon entering, he had 4 tiles that he could travel without producing an encounter. So you see him take those extra steps and then wait until he doesn't have a turn frame left over. So he uses the item in an optimal, he uses the repel in an optimal place. Now, we'd like to apologize for disappearing for a while. Resident Sleeper Tower was so Resident Sleeper that the restream fell asleep.
Oh, tear. Anyway.
So we got a neat little boulder puzzle here. It's actually a little more complicated than it is in Crystal. Not too terribly hard to figure out. Casually, though, you think you have to push every boulder in, but you really only need that one boulder that he pushed in.
And then you just fall down.
Yeah, then you fall down, run into the boulder, and you're good to go. Yeah, the design of Ice Path, up until this room that he's in right now, the design of Ice Path is different in Crystal, and now it's different again. This room is different. Like, the entirety of Ice Path minus that one room is different between Gold and Crystal.
Very strange.
So he's using a repel here, which it's just like the Lighthouse repel. It seems like an awkward place to do it. Seems a little nonsensical, but he uses the repel here because it'll last long enough to go through the water of Dragon's Den, and then it will wear off in a certain place and just make everything a lot more convenient. So it's gonna wear off right when he finishes with Dragon's Den, so he's able to repel a second time while in the menu and reduce the amount of menuing he has to do. He's also doing a lot of extra stuff here, like he healed because critical hyper beam from Claire can do over 100 damage. He taught Whirlpool and Waterfall to Gyarados because, you know, he needs to have that eventually, even though you only used both of them literally once. You have to go through all that effort to get a certain Pokemon, only to use a certain HM once each. And then he also equipped the Pink Bow, which I was trying to explain this before we got killed. Thanks, Restream. But Return's a really, really powerful and valuable move. It's based on your happiness, and at this point in time, you have max happiness. So that combined with the fact that Whitney's badge gives you a normal attack type bonus, and the fact that he has a pink bow as a reward from clearing the radio tower out, which boosts normal type attacks, and Return is a lot stronger than Strength now, so he has a really, really strong and powerful move to use that also has 20 PP as opposed to Strength's 15. So his moveset's complete now. We have Return, Strength, Ice Punch, and Surf. That might seem like an odd combination of moves, but it's actually perfect coverage for the rest of the run.
All right.
So we have Claire's gym here, and you're gonna see a lot of Horsey Seadra because there really aren't that many dragons.
So what do you think Seadra's name is in Japanese?
Seadra.
Close, it's Shidra. But yeah, that's how you'd write Seadra.
He's getting really unlucky here. He got Smokescreen. This is bad for his PP management. See, he missed one Return and one Strength. He should be fine, I think. We do have a couple of extra to play with.
Just like, what does the name Claire have to do with dragons?
I have no idea. It's an unfortunate name for her to have too. because my girlfriend's name is Claire. So anytime I ever play this game, and
You have
Claire's
to go
messing
beat
with
your
me,
girlfriend.
it sounds so awful when you put it that way.
Now, Horsey is completely different. It's Tatsu.
Hmm. And then we got Lamo over here. That's not very different at all.
Yep.
Hopefully no smoke.
Shidra.
Okay, no smoke screen. I think that was Twister he just used. Nice anonym.
Good job. Good job. But I mean, okay, actually I figured out what Jasmine has to do with steel.
What's that?
The last 4 letters are mine. As in
Oh, okay.
Jasmine.
I think he's okay, Gnarly. He missed 2 moves total. You do have a couple of PP to play with.
Okay, so Dragonair is Hakuryu, literally meaning white dragon.
But it's blue!
Well, that's
what
their
kind of
problem.
lie? What kind of lie? So he has not great special. He did use calciums, but he has not great special, so he could potentially miss the damage ranges on these Dragonairs, and they can be really obnoxious because they have stuff like Thunder Wave. If he makes it past the Dragonairs, he's fine. His attack's good enough to take out the Kingdra. His attack is in an awkward position, though, because if he criticals the Kingdra, he might not necessarily one-shot it, even though Kingdra's a 2-shot. And if you do a certain amount of damage to the Kingdra, then it forces the AI to heal, which just wastes time and wastes more PP.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah,
no heal.
I'm just
there,
not
that's
even
good.
going to, because you know what that is. Like, if you're listening to the Japanese restream, or the Japanese stream, you can hear them say Kingdora.
Yeah. So Claire is giving the Johto gym leaders a bad look because, Whitney already didn't want to give you the badge right away because she was too busy crying. Well, Claire can't believe that she lost to you, so she's saying that you have to do extra work in order to get the badge.
Jerks.
Now, interesting to note here is this area is a little different in Crystal. As soon as you enter the Dragon's Den, there's a trainer that snipes you right away, so you have another fight lined up. Whereas in Gold and Silver, you don't have that. Also, in Crystal, you have to enter this building that they're passing right now and do a quiz to prove that you're worthy. Whereas in Gold and Silver, you just gotta go out of your way to grab this Dragon Fang, and then Claire just poofs out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, you did it! Good job! You actually earned the badge. I don't know.
Is it the Rising badge? Because that's what.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so apparently Claire, if you take lair, as in a dragon's lair,
No. Ah.
And then we know why Price is called Price.
Huh.
So we got puns all around.
I guess he did that because his PP is low. Huh. Okay, that's one way to do it. I'm seeing something new. I believe that's a... I believe that's an elixir, or like a max elixir he just picked up.
Interesting.
I mean, I guess if you don't get the encounter, that is faster than taking the Elm heal, and it's more convenient for your repel too. I knew that item was there. I guess it's an okay strat.
All right, well, there's the waterfall ability. I hope you liked it.
That's the only time you'll see it.
We already saw the whirlpool ability the one time we'll see it.
Yup. High quality HMs.
Congratulations on doing your entire RNG manipulation for a single Master Ball so that you can get a red Gyarados. Just for that.
Okay, I double checked. I can confirm that it was a max elixir. I was right. Yes.
Alright, so Magneton is called Rhea Coil.
Makes sense.
And Execute is Tama Tama. Which egg is tamago in Japanese, so. And this guy is look like Neo. Newell.
So that trainer that was on the top column there, or top row, actually has maximum vision. So if he didn't go behind the trainer he just beat as quickly as he did, then he'd be seen. It's really obnoxious.
Dang.
This guy also sees you no matter where you are. But in Crystal, if you stay in the grass, he doesn't see you. I don't know why they made that change. Huh. He picked up the max elixir. But he used struggle strats anyway.
I mean, marathon safety. Why do you do anything in a marathon for marathon safety?
So he did.
Repel just wore off.
Yeah, he did movement there. So he took those extra steps so his super repel could wear off on a certain tile, and he could use that repel wear off as a buffer to dodge the spinner.
Nice. Utsuboto.
That's not entirely correct, Dan. So you have a repel up at that point in time. So in the case of gold, you just go up to the trainer because it reduces the movement of the trainer. In Crystal, if you stay in the grass, you dodge the trainer, and you have a repel up, so there's no encounter to worry about.
So
the vision
Kingler's,
of that the vision of that trainer is completely different in Crystal than it is in Gold.
Kingler is another Pokemon with the same name.
So this whole area in general is kind of weird with the trainers compared to Crystal. You have to fight all these trainers. In Crystal, you only fight one.
And Parasect as well. Parasecto. And Golduck. Golduck.
It always threw me off that he's called Golduck when he's blue. And Psyduck is the one that's closer to gold. I mean, I suppose Gnarly, but the Max Ether is faster to get than the Max Elixir. And there's some interesting design theories. Some of them might not even be theories; it might just be facts. But like the Psyduck Golduck thing, apparently like the original idea was it was supposed to be Caterpie Metapod Venomoth, except Venomoth would be called Butterfree. And then it was supposed to be Venonat Butterfree, but Venomoth, or excuse me, but Butterfree was supposed to be Venomoth. Like if you look at the eyes, like the design makes more sense that way. Dratini Dragonair Gyarados, Magikarp Dragonite, like that was supposed to be something too. Because of the color schemes. Good old brown Sneasel. Some of the colors in Gold and Silver are kind of ugly and awkward because this was before they forced full Game Boy Color compatibility. You could play Gold and Silver on an original Game Boy without color. So
yep, that's how I did it.
So the DMG color palette schemes are kind of wonky. But like you can kind of further see it because like if you look at the design of Magikarp, it has like the whiskers, and I mean Gyarados has whiskers too. But like if you look at Dragonite, like it has like the antennae that kind of look like Magikarp's whiskers. And the way that Dragonite was portrayed in the anime of Pokemon, like it made it feel and seem like a really destructive force. So this is the last time we see Rival. He's kind of a joke. This is probably the easiest rival fight. Like even the first one's harder. So he bought some max repels there, and he bought full restores. Full restores are nice because it's a full heal and a max potion combined. The max repels are just there because he's gonna have to replenish his repels soon. He only bought 11 super repels.
Yeah, we're gonna need that after this particular set of fights here.
Yeah. So Confused Ray is the worst thing that can happen in this fight. He has to heal it off. After a Confused Ray, he'd go for Psychic anyway. So you're just better off hoping that he gets the Psychic turn 1. Other than that, it's just a turn wasted. This fight's really simple. It's X special and sweep.
All right.
It's the Elite Four in Gen 2 is actually kind of interesting because it shows some of the limitation of the availability of Pokemon. Like there are a ton of Psychic types that are available, and holy crap, the Jinx sprite really threw me off because I'm used to how they turned her purple. But anyway, like he has 2 Zatus. When they had stuff they could use, like Alakazam, Espeon, stuff like that. But I guess the design decision was they wanted to save those for Sabrina and Red, because Sabrina has both and Red has Espeon. There's Lance, who kind of shows that there's just a complete shortage of dragons.
Right. Need more dragons. Everything needs more dragons.
So Koga can be a bit of a troll. We do have an X accuracy ready just in case we get double team trolled. The area dose that he leads with has double team and Sludge Bomb and Giga Drain, I believe. So he's gonna set up for his attack, and he just got double team there, so he's gonna use an X accuracy to be safe. So that's Giga Drain there. But yeah, your PP in the Elite Four is kind of tight, especially your Surf PP. Like you run out of Surf.
I see. Lots of Surf. Because I mean, you can't use nothing but normal.
Yeah. I forgot how ugly Forretress was in Gold. That is horrible. Yeah, the only potential issue from here is the Muck. Muck can use Harden. Minimize doesn't matter because he has the X accuracy up, and X accuracy skips accuracy checks and will always hit. Crobat's going to be a range, though, because his special's bad. So there's a chance this Crobat lives and gets a heal.
Oof.
Okay. Oh, he crit. How convenient.
Never lucky, always lucky.
Yeah, no kidding. So he's tossing some items that he doesn't need anymore because scrolling through items in Gen 2 is actually obnoxiously slow. He's gonna use this opportunity to heal too because he's gonna get Dig on turn 1 from Hitmontop, and Dig critical kills. Dig also puts him in Mach Punch range, and on top of all of that too, Machamp is a range. So this fight's actually like a lot more deadly than it might appear.
Hitmontop is capoeira.
So he's gonna set up 2x attacks here because I mean Hitmontop's digging anyway. He's got to kill a turn. And that's the only way he can,
reasonable.
It's the only way he can kill the Machamp too. Yeah, other than the Machamp, everything in this fight's trivial. Good old Hitmonlee. And Goro himself. So for the sake of PP conservation, you actually Ice Punch this Onix instead of Surf, even though Surf would be the faster move to select. So Karen can be unreasonably difficult. She leads an Umbreon, and anybody who's anybody knows that Umbreon is pretty much just designed to troll. It has Sand Attack, which we have X accuracy for. It also has Confuse Ray. So there's a very an ideal fight is you set up one X item and you go, but you might be stuck for an extra couple of turns. So she went for the Confuse Ray right away, so he's gonna have to heal this. This is actually worst case scenario.
Oh boy.
She can go for Sand Attack here. So she went for the Sand Attack, so now he has to set up the X accuracy. And since he's not confused anymore, she goes for the Confuse Ray. This was the worst this fight could have gone.
Garbage time. Actually, indeed.
There's still one more thing that can go wrong. His special's bad, Gengar might live. Gengar has Spite if it lives, and if it uses Spite, then you're out of your Surfs completely. And you have to do the fights a little differently.
Oh boy.
I mean, he does have the Max Elixir he can use if something like that happens, and he can just pick up a Max Ether. But this was not a good fight. Like, he has no damage taken, so it doesn't look like it went horribly, but like, that was ugly.
Alright, so Gengar's gone.
Can we just have a moment of silence for Punyuta killing Itataka in game?
No. What was the name of that crow there?
Murkrow.
Murkrow? Okay. So that the Houndour there, I think
Houndoom.
It was Houndoom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his name in Japanese is Hellguard.
That sounds so much better. Oh man, he's just going straight in. Dying the Lance is really hard to do, so I can't blame it for just going through. But
I mean, this is what we bring the Ice Punch for, right?
Yeah. So if he gets Hyper Beam from this Gyarados, he'll actually set up an X speed, and the X speed would be used to outspeed Aerodactyl. But since he didn't get Hyper Beam, he's just gonna go straight through the fight. So since his special is bad, The level 50 Dragonite is a range, but he does have an extra level. Like, he has 1 level more than he normally would right now. So, I don't remember the damage calculation for it. I don't know if he's going to go for it or not.
We could.
I kind of hope he does. You coward! He went for the guarantee. So by using strength there, he's now guaranteed the kill.
All right.
All right, so no issues there. Only bad thing that could possibly happen now is Aerodactyl using Ancient Power and getting the Ancient Power boosts. Which if Ancient Power gets the boost, then every single one of his stats goes up 1 stage.
So Aerodactyl is Putera in Japanese. Apparently. And Lizardon.
Good old Lizardon. Well, there goes Trivial Lance. Let it be known that Karen is the real final boss.
Mm-hmm. Except we've got this whole other, group of gym leaders to go through.
We have an entire region left.
But it looks like that entire region takes all of, maybe an hour.
Yeah, it's 50 minutes. It's pretty trivial.
So when I say this first half of the game, I actually mean this first, 5/7 of the game.
Yeah. Good old Hall of Fame. So a convenient thing is it saves right before the Hall of Fame cutscene, so you're able to just reset and just start all over.
That's
it's pretty nice.
Pretty much the best.
Yeah, the way that credits work for gold, silver, and crystal is kind of interesting. So traditionally, you'll see Japanese speedruns end when the credits are done. But since there's more game to it, that's kind of considered like false credits. Like, they're not, but for the sake of timing, they're kind of considered false credits. After you beat red, the credits come up again, but because you've seen the credits once already, you can actually hold B and speed through the credits. So the timing of this actually ends a little differently because of that. And it's the only Pokemon game that does that.
Very interesting. It's time to get on a boat.
We're going on the SS Aqua here. Basic plot points. Old man lost his granddaughter. He's trying to find her. And one of the crewman's co-workers is being lazy and he can't find him. So you, being the responsible 10-year-old boy that you are, you're going to take care of both problems. But yeah, so
first we have to punch a sailor in the face.
But yeah, the timing, like, as soon as you see the end pop up, that's the timing of it. But like I said, you can hold B and speed through the credits, so it's really nice. Like, you don't have to sit through 5+ minutes of stuff. Yeah, this guy's team is interesting. He kind of baits you a little bit. You see Machop and Machoke, and it's like, oh man, he's sending out Machamp. Nope, we got Psyduck. Even the Psyduck's confused.
Alright, so the Japanese name there is Koduk. Kind of like Korata.
But there you go. You did it. You found the sailor coworker. Now you got to find the granddaughter, and for whatever reason, she's bothering the captain of the ship. So at any moment she could have distracted him, and we could have crashed and died. So thanks for that. And our reward for saving the granddaughter is a metal coat. It has absolutely no use for us in this speedrun at all.
Yeah, metal coat seems like a good way to drown out here.
Yeah. And also, conveniently, after you finish that, you make it to Vermilion.
Yeah, nice timing.
So this is actually one of the silliest strats in Pokemon speedruns in general. So you get off the boat and you land in Vermilion City, and then you fly to Vermilion City because it's faster to fly from there than it is to leave the port and then bike.
There you go.
Right, so here's another major deviation. Yeah, we just passing glance to Saffron. Here's another major deviation between Gold and Crystal. So since you get Abra in Gold but not in Crystal, you actually go through Rock Tunnel, which is dark. He's probably going to call for serious time after this fight, but you go through Rock Tunnel, which is dark, because you only fight one trainer on the way there. If you went to the power plant area east of Cerulean instead, I think it's like 3 trainers you have to fight. So you just fight one and go through the dark instead. And because you have Abra, you enter the Pokemon Center and you set your warp point there, so you don't have to go through Rock Tunnel a second time. You just teleport there. Abra's very, very helpful.
So that's where the Machamp went.
Yep, he stole it.
So we've got dark rooms. Where'd our lamp go?
It's all gone. It's busted.
Wait, wrong game. Sorry.
It only exists on you. There's 2 areas that you're gonna traverse in the dark through this. It's gonna be Rock Tunnel and then Mount Silver before you get to Red.
Because Flash is overrated.
That was actually really clean too. Yeah, to get Flash, you have to go through Sprout Tower, and that requires 4 fights.
How about we don't say we didn't?
Yeah.
So this takes you over to the power plant, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
If I recall correctly.
Yep.
See, now we're in an area of the world I remember.
Oh yeah, apparently the game hasn't been updated. We've been listed as Star Force 2.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have access to that particular piece of technology.
We're doomed.
And the other person is currently commentating another thing. So
So here we have the not creative Erica's gym. They kind of ran out of space to make things fancy. So the gyms in Kanto are really, really basic and bare bones.
Yep. So Erica has the same name in both the Japanese and the English.
Huh.
There are quite a few different names throughout. Like Brock is not named Brock in Japanese, of course. and Misty is not named Misty. But Erica is named Erica because
Isn't she like Kasumi or something like that?
Kasumi is and the thing with Kasumi is umi is the word for sea, like the sea in Japanese. So there you go.
Good old Executor before his neck was 10 feet tall. So, because of the size constraints, Kanto is pretty bare bones. But even though it's still essentially just like a giant gauntlet, it doesn't suffer the same problem that the rocket gauntlets do, because you get to see a bunch of the map and stuff, and it's just busy work throughout. So you're still over leveled compared to everything up until the final fight, but at least some of the fights are interesting, and you get to kind of go through nostalgia and see where it all started. Also, Parasec's dex entry is kind of dark. Apparently Parasect was just like a normal insect, and then that parasitic fungus on top of it just slowly took over. It's essentially a zombie.
Yeah, basically.
It's a zombie that's 4 times weak to fire and 4 times weak to flying. That poor thing.
So apparently this is the runner's favorite background music.
It's a pretty solid track. It's probably my 3rd favorite. I really like it.
Of course, our viewers can't really hear it, but that's the Japanese name for that is watako. I have no idea what that is.
So the game audio isn't there because it's purely in Japanese, in terms of commentary for them. And if we had the game audio, we would also get the Japanese commentary, so we would be talking over the commentary the whole time. So the Erica fight's kind of interesting. So for Alligator strong enough to take out everything, after some setup, the first 2 pokes she leads, she had the Tangela and she had the Jumpla. Both those die, no problem. But you do need to set up for Victory Bell, and you do need to set up for Blossom. So he sets up on the Victory Bell because Victory Bell is guaranteed to use Sunny Day turn 1. So you're not going to take any sort of damage, so it's essentially a free turn.
Back into the big Saffron City.
Now we're gonna fight Sabrina. There's that spinner right there that he has to dodge. Hitting her is kind of annoying. He actually takes a funky route here, so it's not the fastest teleportation route, but it allows him to dodge the other trainers, because every single trainer in this gym is a spinner. So you take the little bit of time loss for taking a slower route to dodge a spinner, because if you take the fastest route, you have to dodge a second spinner.
Did they change the layout of this gym at all?
No. This gym is the same. This gym is the same. Erica's gym is different because you don't have to worry about the cut trees and stuff, but the general aesthetic is the same. Koga's gym, which is now Janine's gym, is the same. Brock's gym is pretty similar. Like it's barely any different. Misty's gym is the same. Surge's gym is the same. Blaine doesn't have a gym.
Like you do.
And then Blue is just made of Legos.
All right.
Most of the layouts throughout Kanto are pretty consistent with their Gen 1 counterparts. The biggest
I like Legos.
The biggest difference is Viridian Forest doesn't really exist. Like it exists, but it doesn't exist.
Yeah, you lose your gem when your entire town gets lit on fire.
Yeah.
Covered in lava.
Now this is actually pretty funny. So this is a rocket that doesn't realize that Team Rocket got disbanded a second time. He's the reason why the power plant is missing its generator. He hides the generator in water, of all places. So I'm surprised that it still works.
Yeah, I was gonna say, seems like a bad way to treat your electronics.
And so here he is again, and there he goes. You don't have to fight him.
We're just like, peace out.
Yeah, so that even though you can get the machine part and finish the quest that way, you technically leave something open because you don't fight the guy because he doesn't set off any flags. In the remakes, you have to fight him, but in the original Gen 2 games, you can absolutely skip him.
I mean, do you have to be on the bike to skip him, or can you just walk right by him?
You can just walk by him. You can like bonk into him over and over, and he won't know any better. Like if you talk to him, then you start a fight.
So why do we got to go talk to Bill? Why do we got to go to Bill's house anyway?
So going through here, once you get to the end of it, you see Misty, and she's on a date, and you interrupt her date. And she goes through her spiel of, do you know what we call you? Pests. You're a pest.
Oh yeah? Well, get wrecked.
And actually the funny thing about it is, in Crystal, you would interrupt her date, and then be like, oh, you want to face me at my gym? Okay, sure. But then you fly and do other things before you fight her. So you ruin her date. You totally blue ball her, and then you just like, okay, I'll talk to you in like 10 minutes. Goodbye. Pretty high quality trolling. It's kind of like how you in Gold you put off curing the Ampharos. You just let it die a little longer. You're like, I gotta take care of some other things first, no big deal. Like Crystal, you do it right away, because Crystal you use an Entei instead of a Feraligatr. Yeah, so in Crystal, instead of getting the Master Ball for the Gyarados, you get the Master Ball for Entei, and you just rely on getting either Poliwag early, which you can get it much earlier than in Gold, or you get the Gift Dratini after Claire's gym. Because Feraligatr can't learn Waterfall, but Dratini can, because sure.
So how do you make sure that Entei spawns?
So you save, and if he doesn't show up, you just reset and try again.
All right.
But Entei saves a good chunk of time. It's a lot faster than Feraligatr is in Johto. It is a little slower than Feraligatr in Kanto, but the time save from getting it for Johto is massive. Because if you think about it, at that point in time, you have a Croconaw instead, and that's like level 22. Or you have this legendary fire Pokemon that is level 40. So your snooze fest of one-shotting everything begins a lot earlier.
Goodness, this is a lot of trainers up here.
Yeah, there are 7 trainers that you have to fight.
There's more trainers up here than there are in red and blue.
Yeah, there's a good chunk. Well, actually, there's actually a lot in this part in red and blue. The difference though is none of them are on the bridge. Yet they still consider this Nugget Bridge. So even though this is a different route than Nugget Bridge, these are still the Nugget Bridge trainers or whatever.
Aha.
So at the end of this gauntlet, there's actually a guy that you can talk to that will give you a nugget, but then he'll also fight you. Like, now that I gave you money, let's fight. But you can totally skip him.
Yeah. I mean, do we need that kind of money? Nah.
So this guy's actually kind of funny. He's like, I'm not part of the Nugget Bridge trainers. I'm just here to beat you up because you're tired. But
I've got a Porygon.
Yeah, he only has a Porygon, and you're 22 levels higher than it, so I don't know what he's trying to accomplish here.
I believe he's trying to make a statement, and that statement is, I have too much time on my hands.
So you just interrupted her date, and now you're gonna fight her. Oh boy.
Seems like a pretty good way of doing things.
This is actually kind of funny. So you dodge all her trainers by going all the way to the edge and just surfing to her.
Nice.
This fight isn't too terrible. It's just 1 X attack and go. Depending on your attack stat, you either set up on the Golduck or the Quagsire. You would prefer to set up on the Quagsire because it can use Amnesia and you take no damage, and that's what he's going to be going for here. Golduck will use... I don't remember what I had. Okay, so he missed the range. That's unfortunate. He didn't take too much damage, though. But he's going to set up an X attack on the Quagsire. Her Lapras is a range. And her Lapras can be super duper annoying because it could freeze you, which is great. Well, he is getting super unlucky here. He got Earthquake critical. Nothing too detrimental. This is just time waste more than anything. Like, he's not gonna die or anything. Yeah, this Lapras is a range.
So it's for alligator. They named it Harumafuji. Harumafuji is what they decided to name their Feraligatr.
And it's kind of funny that he missed the Golduck range, but he got the Lapras range.
Well, that's RNG for you.
Sure is. So now he's gonna find the machine part that's hidden in here, and like I said, he just hides the machine part in the water. And since he entered the rock tunnel center, he's gonna repel here because he has to go through the water and the grass again. And he's gonna teleport, so this saves him a trip of having to go through Rock Tunnel a second time.
So we can just head straight for the power plant again.
Yeah. It's a really handy time save. And now after he drops off the machine part, he'll go to Lavender Town immediately afterwards, and the spooky Lavender Tower that once was is now a radio tower.
Uh-oh.
And you do nothing. You just do absolutely nothing there. You talk to a guy and he gives you an expansion card for your radio, which is really important because it has the Poke Flute channel on it, and It is Kanto, so there's bound to be a Snorlax somewhere.
Yep, gotta get that Snorlax out the way.
The Zapdos was in the power plant in red, blue, yellow, and fire red, leaf green. So now he's going to take care of Lieutenant Surge. The reason this was put off for as long as it was is, one, you're for alligators, so you want to make sure that you have the best odds of success because Surge is an electric gym. And two, you have to go this way anyway because now that you have the expansion card for the radio card, you can use the Poke Flute to wake up said Snorlax. Snorlax is blocking your way to Diglett Tunnel, and Diglett Tunnel is the only way to get to Pewter City from here. Like, there's no way to backtrack through Mount Moon or anything like that. You just have to straight up go through this way. Also, the joy of this is canless. You don't have to do that stupid trash can puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best version of Lieutenant Surge's gym. Because of that alone.
I believe it. So, once again taking a water Pokemon to a lightning fight, but I don't think that's going to be a problem here.
Not at this point in time. He's too high level. Return is too strong. Everything that he doesn't use Return on dies to Surf. If you were to do this gym as soon as you could, then a lot of the Pokemon are ranges to kill, and they all have terrible, terrible moves. For you, it's great for them. Yeah, Magneton's essentially the only thing that you don't surf, or that you don't return. You surf it instead.
So, that's Electrode, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the name there is Marumine. As in round mine.
Makes sense.
Or circle. Maru's circle.
So I was gonna wake up the big bad Snorlax.
Gotta tune into the proper frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Easier to tune into the proper frequency in this version of the game.
Now, this is actually a really silly fact. So, the very, very first speed runs of Gen 2, like way back in like 2010, 2011, you'd actually pick up the free Master Ball from Professor Elm, and you would catch that Snorlax. Because the red fight, like the final fight of the game, wasn't properly routed yet. So you basically wanted to have as many potential like sacrifices as you could get. And Snorlax was something that you could send out. It wouldn't die in one hit, and you could like properly revive yourself and heal yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The way that trash cans work is literally different in every iteration of the game. So in Japanese red and green, the cans are a complete, like, just mess. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. If you look at a map of what can is associated with what can. It's disgusting. Red and blue English was essentially any adjacent can or the top left can. So even if the top left can were the first can, it could also be the second can. Yellow has it a little differently, where certain cans only link to other cans 75% of the time. Gold, silver, crystal, you don't worry about cans at all. Fire red, leaf green, heart gold, and soul silver. The cans are any can can be it, and any adjacent can can be the second can.
So Golem is Goron. And Kabutops is Kabutops.
Huh.
Omastar.
That Omastar can actually be annoying. It has Protect. It doesn't use it too often, but you do need all the Surf PP you can get. So him using Protect is actually annoying.
Psyhorn. Not Rhyhorn. Psyhorn.
Huh. Interesting. Rock Snake.
Ewok. Ewok?
Ewok.
That's what it says!
We Star Wars now, let's go.
Onyx is officially an Ewok.
There are 4 fights left in the game.
So you've got Blaine, you've got Janine, and you've got blue, and then red.
Yep. Oh, so he picked up the max ether anyway. I wonder why I picked up the max elixir. I guess just as a backup.
Marathon safety. Apparently in Japanese, sai is the word for rhinoceros.
Huh.
They have a much shorter word for rhinoceros.
So I picked up that max ether because he's running low on returns, and it's just faster to pick up that max ether and use it, since he has to repel anyway than it would be to use the center. Centers are slow. You actually only use 1 total center.
Yeah, I think the one center use was while I was away.
No, the one center was a violet. You have to grab the egg anyway, and you're out of rage PP, so you might as well just use the center. After Violet, though, you get a free heal after Slowpoke Well. You get a free heal in a Resident Sleeper Hideout. You get a free heal on the way to Victory Road. You actually get a free heal on the SS Aqua. Like, after you beat that Sailor, you actually get a free heal after that fight. It's really odd. So this is Blaine's gym. It's a sad,
Blaine's
lonely
hole
cave.
in a wall.
Yeah. Also, everyone seems to forget that Mad Cargo's Gen 2 because it's that forgettable.
Huh. Well, that is its name. Mag Cargo.
Good old Magmar.
Booba. Booba.
Mad Cargo and Magmar are like super duper sad. Rapidash is like the only thing that can really be a threat.
Okay,
And
so
it just-
Rapidash, I don't think you're gonna guess what that one is called.
Fuego Pony.
It's called Gallop
What?
or Gyarop.
I liked my answer better.
And I mean, given that its name became Rapidash, I mean, galloping is a rapid dash.
Yeah, I guess. You and your logic.
Logic is overrated, I know.
So this gym's interesting. So they're all spinners with 0 vision. So they can see you but not do anything. There's only one Janine, and for some reason in Gold, Silver, Crystal, she's right there. But in Heart, Gold, Soul, Silver, she's where her dad would be, which is in the bottom middle. But yeah, she's the second to last gym leader we deal with because the movement dictates that this is the fastest way to do it. And she's also the weakest gym leader. It's really, really sad. There's one thing that can go wrong in the fight, and that's her last Pokemon, Venomoth, can use a dire hit. What that does is it wastes 1.5 seconds of your time. That is it.
Wow. So, this gym leader's name in the Japanese is Anzu.
What's Koga's?
Koga.
Man.
I'm reasonably certain.
Man. But yeah, this is the saddest gym fight. Oh, he didn't get the dire hit. He saved 1.5 seconds.
Woo!
Nice. Also, for whatever reason, after you beat Janine, the game lags a little bit before she gives you the badge. There isn't a rhyme or a reason to it, it just happens.
Odd.
And now you see that you get to see what the phonies are. One of them was a crossdresser.
Well, you know, to each their own.
Different strokes for different folks.
I certainly ain't gonna stop you. And on to Viridian City.
And this is the most complicated gym in the entire game.
Yeah, not close.
That was so hard to do. Yeah,
It's a
the
little
Lego
more
gym.
If I'm not mistaken, it's a little more complicated in this version than it is in the original.
The original has a bunch of the advancement pads, like the little directional pads.
Oh, okay.
You have to fight 2 trainers, and then you get to.
Oh,
to
I must be
Giovanni
thinking of
hiding in the background.
something different because I thought it was just a room.
I'm trying to think what.
Maybe I'm making things up.
I'm trying to think what you could have possibly mixed it up with. Oh, this is going horribly. Goodness.
So Pidgeot is Pidgeot.
Jasmine is just a room. There's that. Yeah, Jasmine's gym is literally just this one, except with rocks instead of Legos.
I mean, if you actually look at the name for Pidgeot there, it's actually written closer to Pidgeotto.
Huh.
Pidgeotto is how you would say that. But Pidgeotto is pigeon.
Oh yeah, so in Heart Gold Soul Silver, this is actually a full-fledged gym with a ton of trainers and a bunch of directional pads, and that was a complicated mess.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
So anyway, this is the first fight in forever that the levels seem like they're reasonable. Blue's team is high 50s. I think there was a 60.
Sidon.
Now, I think his defense was bad enough to get extreme speed from Arcanine, if I remember right. Oh, okay. Well, I remember wrong. If your defense isn't good enough, Arcanine's always going to do extreme speed. Oh, you know what it is? His defense was bad enough, but his special was also so bad that Arcanine wanted to do something else.
So
one bad stat offset the other.
Are you ready for Arcanine's name? It's Winda.
Okay.
Like Winder or something.
So now we talk to Oak, because he's going to give us access to Mount Silver. He's also going to raid our Pokedex. It's kind of
Straight
in a bad
Garbo.
spot. Yeah, he's like, what are you doing? But there's one dungeon to go through. It's in the dark. He's also definitely going to heal because he wants it. He wants to not be dead. He's going to heal after his next repel. Mount Silver's also in the dark, just like Rock Tunnel was. It's actually a lot easier to do than it looks. Rock Tunnel's a lot more complicated, in my opinion. Because Rock Tunnel, everything's in the dark, and you're traversing through 2 maps, and you're transitioning several times. Whereas here, there's only one area that's dark, and it's pretty easy to travel.
Alright, so let's get through some dark rooms.
And he is if he doesn't save before red, I will be completely shocked. So the red fight's going to be really interesting. He leads a level 81 Pikachu, and logically speaking, you think that, oh man, I have Feraligatr, I'm screwed. Well, the thing is, Thunder doesn't one-shot, so the AI doesn't necessarily dictate that it should use Thunder. It has a high likelihood of using Charm on turn 1. Turn 2, it's more likely to use Thunder, and then from there on, it's 50% between the 2 moves. So what he's going to do is he's going to set up a Guard Spec, because Guard Spec will completely nullify the attack drops of Charm. And the perfect fight for him would be nothing but Charm. So here's hoping. Okay, so there's one Charm. Or maybe that was a Thunder Miss, who knows. I think that was a Thunder Miss that first turn, so he got really lucky there. So the setup's really simple. It's Guard Spec to avoid the drops, X speed, so you outspeed everything, and then 2 X attacks. So he, other than that Thunder happening turn 1, I mean, it missed, so it was good, but he essentially had a perfect Pikachu there, so this is essentially a free fight from here.
All right.
Like, that was really good. Thunder Miss is actually faster than Charm, so he actually had like the fastest first turn he could have. Venusaur's AI is locked into Solar Beam, so the 2 shots, no big deal. Espeon dies in 1 shot. Snorlax is like 75% to use Amnesia, and then it has a chance to use Body Slam too. So Snorlax is like the last bastion of Doom.
So we've got Fushigibana is Venusaur. Literally meaning strange flower.
It's definitely a strange flower. So this is the last thing that can really go wrong. He can get criticaled by Blastoise and criticaled by Charizard, and I don't know if that kills. I think it does if he gets criticaled by both. Okay, he got Amnesia, so unless he gets supremely unlucky here. Like he'd have it's 1 in 256 to lose from here. Of course, if he criticals, he saves a turn.
This is comics.
Alright, so he wins. He is safe no matter what.
Nice.
That was a really clean red fight. Very good.
And of course, Lizardon.
God bless.
Lizardon.
Like the only thing that can happen from here is Charizard can like critical flamethrower and burn, and the only thing that would change is you would surf instead of return. But none of that happened, so easy fight. Like there's a reason that Rival 2 and Whitney are considered the 2 hardest fights. This one's hard too, but like once you get past the part, then you get past everything. And now he's just gonna hold B, and the credits are gonna go fast, and as soon as the end pops up, that's gonna be their time. So he just missed sub 320.
All right, so well done on the run.
Good job, Punyuta.
It was a good one.
There it is. So he hit, let's see, he hit Kaylee, he hit Douglas, and I think that's it. I think he only hit 2 spinners. I think.
All right, not bad. Not bad.
He had 1 reset for Totodile stats. He had 1 reset for Whitney. I think that's it. He had a couple of like really crappy fights, but overall that was a pretty clean standard run. So yeah, that was it's Pokemon Gold by Punyuta, one of the top Pokemon runners of the Japanese Pokemon community. That had Itataka, another top runner, as one of the commentators. If that looked interesting to you guys at all, whether you wanted to do the English version or the Japanese version, there are tons of resources available online. There is a Pokemon Speedruns Discord, and there's also a Discord for the Japanese community as well. You can reach out to either runner by following them on Twitch, Twitter, or Nico. You can also follow me if you want some guidance and direction on where to go for any of your speedrunning endeavors.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Kizaron,
Yes.
for putting together some great commentary on that. You clearly knew your way around this game, and I appreciate it because you certainly knew more than I do. All right, so